So as I feel like you have a responsibility in a sense to carry the blueprint, carry the torch for the family name. How important is the team? Because we remember Kabi, obviously we got Hoggy here. How is it important when you and leaning on them when you're trying to create decisions about the business side, right? Or are they integral in it? Are you integral in their endeavors as well?
Yeah, I think for us, it's the hustle way. Anytime Hustle went out and put something down, he always reached back, involved me, reached back, involved Fats, reached back, definitely involved, the whole All Money In team, Kabi, Pac, Hoggy, Stone, and I think the whole team hustlers. Anyway, since I was younger, when we was trying to get money, the whole team, Kabi, been having money, spots, we always look up to Kabi as a grinder, and so he always had his shit going. Pac always was a young nigga grinding, and I think, number one, that's why the synergies with Nip. Hoggy, same thing. Hoggy was a young nigga in a whip. I think he wasn't even supposed to be driving. You know what I'm saying? He pulling up.
That doesn't surprise me.
You know what I'm saying? So the whole team is hustlers, and I think we all took, advice and inspiration, from Hustle. And vice versa. He came and his team was strong. And so, anything that we can do to help, always, they got their own clothing brands, they got their own, studios, their own movements, websites, and that shit booming. And, once we get this open, my goal is obviously collabs or anything we can do to help, the individual brands we here to do, as Hustle always do, and always will do, we're gonna continue.
So what's the corporate structure here? Because I know a lot of people don't see what goes on behind the scenes, but we met JP, and I'm sure there's other people that's involved. Yeah. You want to talk about that, like the different people and their responsibilities?
Yeah, 100%. As far as the marathon team, the whole All Money In team and the whole team is highly involved, and they tap in. But as far as like the everyday marathon team, that's JP, that's Adam, myself, and as far as like designing, the 7 days a week, trying to figure out sourcing online, financing, that's the team that's just every day putting in everything for this brand, as far as like trying to get it open and get it to the next level. So since day one, when Fats is no longer here, but his family is a part owner in the Marathon Clothing and the Marathon as a brand with us. So every step of the way, we got to make sure that they coming with us, and when we open this store, they kids and they family know too. This is y'all. This is part owned by y'all too, and this is something that your father, struggled for and sacrificed for. So. Not to be long-winded, but when you talk about the marathon team, as far as the ownership, there's Nip, Fats, JP, Adam, and myself.
Talk about the marathon. There's different branches, right? The marathon OG, the cannabis side, yeah, the clothing side. What encompasses the whole situation?
I think the brand that Hustle created, the brand. I think I talked about it before. The marathon mixtape was the first time when I heard it, and I'm fresh out. Hustle was killing them in the streets. Bullets ain't got no names. I think volume 1 and 2, I'm first hearing it. I'm like, oh nigga, we on everywhere we go. I'm high energy. I'm like, bro, it's a wrap. You got it. And we put out volume 3. And as Nip is working on the next project, he's like, this next one I'm gonna call The Marathon. And so I'm like, what? Nah. What are you, man? We gonna run Bullets Ain't Got No Names to volume 10. What you talking about? We on right? He like, nah, bro, trust me. And him and JP had been tapping in a lot and reading books on branding, and JP was taking photos, black and white photos, and he was really, creating logos, and so he laid the vision out, to us, and that created the Marathon brand. And I didn't fully understand it at that point, but when the project came out, I seen how wide it went, and I seen, like he said, he like, man, I don't like the energy at the shows. You know, we hopping off of stages, getting into fights with niggas, shootouts, and like, that's not the energy a nigga want to bring. I want to bring like inspiration, and so I didn't fully understand it, but once the project came out, and I start seeing the difference. I start seeing people coming with resumes, people coming in telling, bro, like, man, I'm in college, I'm staying in college because of your message. And, you know, I said, that's the point where I said, oh, this, you know, bro, this is genius. And from that came the Marathon Continues mixtape. And, you know, the clothing brand, trying to figure out what to call the clothing brand, came Marathon Clothing. And, you know, like you say, Marathon OG, and just that, those are the branches that came from, you know, from the Marathon brand.
Yeah. One of the things, you know, obviously, that y'all made known was Crenshaw, right? So you talked about the Bullets Have No Names. We talked about the Marathon mixtape, but talk about the importance of when that Crenshaw mixtape and the business plan behind that hit the streets, and what it was like going through it at that time.
I think for me, I remember when I first got out, Hussle and Adam was doing the MySpace, you know, and I didn't know what that exactly was, but they finna start building the touring, and you know they getting verses and getting booked for shows, and I remember Adam like, man, everybody on this MySpace keep asking about this Crenshaw crew neck that Nip wore in the Hustle in the House video. Like everybody talking about where can I get it? So I'm fresh out like, hold on, huh? So I'm like, all right, that's what we gonna do. So me and Fats immediately just went and tried to recreate the crew necks. And from that, the Crenshaw hoodies, and we started seeing the everybody was on the sweater. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna try to get the shop back. And we got the shop back, and moving forward, you know, Hussle, obviously, anytime we would do anything, he taking it and putting it on in every video, putting it on and just making that shit go out of here, like gold record. Everybody wanted them, and we started seeing, but we were like, you know, how do we take it to the next level? And I think when the Crenshaw mixtape came out, to me, from looking back at it, that was the next level because it was a different font. It was the old school Boys in the Hood font. You know, him and JP did the photo, and JP created it or pulled it. I think JP, you sent it to us, or you showed us something?
Yeah. I said, why haven't we flipped this yet?
Yeah.
It made perfect sense. I'm like, this happened in your neighborhood.
Yep.
I'm like, and it's another variation of the logo. And then Hustle's the one that took ownership and was like, this is what the mixtape's gonna be called, and I'm gonna wear it on the cover. And this is gonna be the design that's attached to this project.
You wanna come in and tell us?
Oh yeah. I didn't, you know, there's so many things I could speak about, but you know, Sam hits it right on the head.
So we was talking about branding before when you guys was in the office. We was talking, and everything is just so iconic with the flag, the color scheme. It's like Nike. Like there's certain brands, when you see it, it's like you just want to buy it just to wear it. Like, you know what I mean? Because it means something. How is that putting that play together? Like, whose idea was it to have the flag and have the red and white and have it look the way that it looks? Because it's actually very, very iconic feel to it.
That's the offspring of Hussle and I having conversations about rebranding and turning his brand and everything he represents on his head, you know. Now, Bullets Ain't Got No Name series was, you know, like Sam said, was a classic. It's undisputable. And it was important to lay that foundation so people know like where he's coming from and the realities of where he's coming from. He was never one to glamorize it, of course, but just to express it, you know, in its raw format and give people an update of what's happening in the streets of LA, because there have been so many other versions prior to it that were too nostalgic and felt like something that was borrowed from the past. And so we're coming with the Marathon brand. He wanted everything to be brand new. So in coming up with the box logo, our Marathon box logo, the flag you alluded to, we borrowed from Life magazine. That's where the reference is from.
I was looking at it, I'm like, because I know the impact that the Supreme thing had on it, having a brick store. I was like, the box, they did it too.
People may feel that, and they actually referenced from someone else, right? Ours was from Life magazine because the imagery that we created for the campaign was in black and white on film. When all of our counterparts and everybody was going digital because it was more cost effective and it had you can upload it a lot quicker. We went the complete opposite way against the grain, and we went with black and white film. And so one of the publications that I always liked and I brought to the table was Life magazine. And so that's where we borrowed the concept for that. And then with the flag, that was, every movement has its flag, so we had to have ours. And so again, Hussle always came up with these like really concise and specific ideas, and then he just handed it off to me for execution. And it always worked out.
Even the color red, it just popped. Like, y'all talked about that?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we could have, of course, instinctively people probably felt Hussle would want to go with blue, but just red and white just pops out.
Yeah, I read a book where it was like most fast food restaurants is red and yellow. Something about red, it's an appealing color. It like
Catches
gets your appetite. It gets your appetite
They all
going as
use
well.
it. Burger King, McDonald's, KFC,
Wendy's, almost
all of
every.
them.
If you notice, every fast food company uses red in some capacity.
Also represents passion, like your heart. Usually, so there's different colors that people identify with different emotions, and red definitely, makes sense for our brand.